Hello, vinyl community. I'm going to do a little response to Metal Marty Mac on his video for 10 classic EPs from the 1980s. Seems like back about I don't know, 6 months ago, 8 months ago, someone did something with some EPs because I remembered a picture I took. You'll see it in the thumbnail here with EPs, and I just set up a set of 10 EPs as well as 3 live ones. And it was just something I did then, and it was a text to a couple people at the time. So, but now Marty did one, and he was looking for people's ideas, what they had and whatnot. And I figured, what the heck, let's do an actual response and show some EPs. I'm going to briefly show that one live one there that I had from the original picture, 1990 Combat Records. One of the last few records that probably Combat pressed. This is 1990 here in the US. And by then it was pretty well done with vinyl here. So there's not many things out there still from them, from the era either. So just kind of a little extra bonus there. So these next 10 are going to be in no particular order whatsoever. I just pulled 10. Some of them were from that picture, and a couple of them I did not use because they were already shown. So this one here, Heretic. Does this need any introduction? Torture Knows No Boundary. This is 1986 from Metal Blade Records. 4 songs. This does not have, I'm sorry, 5 songs on it. There is, Mike Howe is not on this one here. Classic Metal Blade logo there. Mike Howe did not show up until 1988's the full-length album there. What was it? Torture Knows No Boundaries. So, okay, what's next here? Lizzie Borden, Give 'em the Axe, 1983, 84. 4 tracks. Set these guys off. Actually, they started on Metal Massacre 4 the year before. They had a track on there, Rod of Iron. I did pull that record too. It's sitting over here, but Rod of Iron. Not sure if that made it onto another album. I'd have to go back and look at some of the other ones to see if it ever made it onto another album later on. Maybe somebody in the comments can throw that in there. Yeah, original Metal Blade, back silver label. And this is the one of the early ones from them. This is kind of an oddball thing because the lyric sheet in that, can barely get it out. It's in a fitted sheet that's very, very tight, almost like it was designed for the lyric sheet. Kind of a cool thing, because how often do those get destroyed or whatnot? All right, what else do we have here? 1985 from Germany, none other than Celtic Frost. Emperor's Return. This is a 5-track EP. Original. Definitely one of the early Noise releases. There's only 16 advertisements on here. Probably one of the earliest ones I have from them. Silver labels as well. So that one's definitely a classic. Their album before this was kind of a mini LP, Morbid Tales, and then they came out with an EP, and it wasn't until the one after that that was the full-length album, and then they had a good career going on from then. So, okay, next one. Sacred Reich. Great U.S. thrash band. This was the follow-up to their debut album. Again, Metal Blade, the updated logo for the later 80s. This was a Inspected by 17. Not 100% sure what that is, but I'm going to leave it in there. Again, 1988, 4 tracks on here. Came out after the Ignorance album in 1987. The updated reissue that came in 2021 added 2 additional live tracks on here that were not on the... Try to get the light away from here a little bit. So, and here's Zoe. She always wants to jump on. So, moving right along, staying in the 80s with some killer EPs from Omen, Nightmares. 6 tracks, 1987. I think I said that already. Enigma Metal Blade logo. This one has 3 brand new tracks on it. They had just come off of 1986's The Curse, which was a killer album, in my opinion. And they came off with this one here. 3 tracks, Nightmares, Shock Treatment, and Dragon's Breath. Then they included on there also a couple of tracks from previous, one from Curse and one from Warning of Danger. And then they do their rendition of Whole Lotta Rosie on here, which is actually pretty good. Unfortunately, this was some of the last of Omen. They did have another album after this on Metal Blade, with a different singer and whatnot, but I think the heyday was over at this point, unfortunately, because a great band they were. So, all right. What was that? That was 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll make sure I'm counting right here. So I think I've got, here's number 5. So, Nuclear Assault. This one, 2 different versions. Both of these are originals. No difference in track listings whatsoever on them. The back, identical. This is a U.S. combat release. Lyrics and pictures. Gray camouflage labels. Pressed at 33 1/3 RPM. The other one here, which is a UK under one flag. Same, but is pressed at 45 RPM. So they cut it differently for the 2 countries. Different. They sound pretty much the same, but what can I say? Nuclear Assault, they were a great band back then. All right. What do we have here? This one here has a lot of sentimental value to me. This one here, can't tell who it is by looking at it. Nowhere on it does it say who they are. Not even on the spine is there anything. That won't show. But Jagdpanzer from Colorado, 1983 with this album. EP, 4 tracks. This was on that Azra label. Very, very independent. Silver, 2 tracks per side. I know the reissue later on went on to be called Tyrants and had the logo and name right on the cover. But this one here, I can remember back in the day where my buddy had this one and we played this thing to death at parties. Not this copy. And then I had Ample Destruction, which was the 1984's album from them, and we played those to death at pretty much every party that we had back in the 80s and into the 90s even. So a little bit of memories with that one. So what do we have here? Number 3. Again, here's one I'm going to show a couple versions of because it's the same album but different from the reissue to the original. Back in 1983, this was released with 3 tracks on it from Metal Blade. Look at those guys. John Bush with hair. That's interesting, huh? Enigma insert. Several of these. Yeah, I've got a lot of these. Lyrics. This was one of the earlier ones, but they have moved. They had moved on to the brown labels, center labels there. So again, 1 track on side 2, 2 tracks on side 1. And then in 2012 was reissued red vinyl from Metal Blade, and there was 2 additional tracks on here. No Reason to Live and Stricken by Fate. I think that would be an interesting deep dive to figure out where those 2 tracks came from, because they were not part of the Metal Massacre. There was the track from Metal Massacre 2, where their introduction came, was Lesson Well Learned. So, great band. I remember discovering them with their first full album when I saw the cassette, and you saw those guys in their battle gear standing in front of the castle, and turned out to be an excellent band going forward all the way through the 80s. And you know, every one of their albums is here. So, all right, number 2, Agent Steel from 1986, Combat Records. They had just come off of a couple albums, Skeptic's Apocalypse and 1987. Kind of a gold cover. I can't think of it right off the top. But this one actually came before the second album in 1986. Has a couple new songs on it, as well as a cover song from Judas Priest, The Ripper. And then The Day at Guyana, which is a track off of... oh, heck, that's going to bug me now. Unstoppable Force is where that came from. All right. What's different about this one is, you know, today everybody's got colored vinyl. Everybody. But in 1986, look at this thing. That was pretty rare for that era. You know, I can count probably 10 records in my collection from that were non-reissues or modern records that are on colored vinyl. This one here, also the labels, that's not the typical Combat label. No camouflage or anything. So green, even the gray camos or any of that. Pressed at SRC, Specialty Records, and maybe they sourced it out to them. It wasn't typically a label they use, or a pressing plant they used, Combat used for pressing of their records in the day. But it might have been the color thing. So, right. And last, number 1. This one here, what can I say? This one's a nice grail. Actually, I've only had it a couple years, found it. Couldn't believe my eyes when I walked in and saw it there. Had been looking for it for years and years and years. This has been one of my... and is to this day my number 1 favorite thrash band of all time. Here is from 1985, the Overkill EP, recorded in 1984, released early 1985. New Jersey's finest, again. And then... so right there, side 2, the bottom track there, Overkill, was the start of a 5-song arc of Overkill 1, 2, 3, 4 had a different name. Which one was it? Pop quiz. And then they concluded that with Overkill 5 on 2007's Immortalis, which was the final album of theirs. Well, not the final one. They still have a few that have not been released on vinyl, but Church of Vinyl released that one here just about a year and a half ago, finally. So, all right, what's your thoughts? Comments? Put them down below. I will. I'll link Marty's channel here so you can see his original video, and let's have some fun with this one. Let's see some other videos out there too, what people have to offer, and give me some feedback on what you think here. And rock on, stay heavy. Till next time.